Have you ever heard about the phrase learning style? Have you ever heard about choosing the right learning style for you would help you succeed in studying? Take a small quiz with 5 questions and figure out the learning style you're most likely to be.
Question 1. When you see the word cat, what do you do first? Picture a cat in your mind. Say the word cat to yourself, or think about being with a cat. Question 2. What kind of book would you like to read for fun? A book with lots of pictures, lots of words, or a book with word searches and crossword puzzles. Question 3. When you're not sure how to spell a word, what are you most likely to do? Write it down to see if it looks right. Spell it out to see if it sounds right. Or trace the letters in the air. Question 4. What's the best way for you to study for a test? Read the book and your notes and review the pictures or the charts. Have someone to ask you questions that you can answer it aloud. Or make up index cards that you can review. Question 5. What do you find most distracting when taking class? Lights that are too bright or too dim. Noises from the hallway or outside the building. Or the temperature being too hot or too cold. Okay, now you have the answers with you. Just check, what kind of learner are you? If you have answers mostly A, it means that you're a visual learner. If your answer are mostly B, it means you're an auditory learner. If you have mostly C with you, it means you're a kinesthetic learner. Let me explain how the categories work. They came from the VAK learning style model, which classified the most common ways that people learn. If you are a visual learner, you will retain information better when it is presented in, for example, pictures, diagrams, and charts. If you are auditory learner, you may prefer listening to what is being presented. Also, in classes and lectures, hearing your own voice repeating something back to your tutor or trainer is helpful. As a kinesthetic learner, you prefer physical experiences. In order to learn a concept, the best way is to touch, feel, or engage in an activity. The concept of learning style was put into practice in education worldwide for decades. However, what we usually don't know is that until now, there is still no sufficient evidence to show the learning style hypothesis is true. Can using your preferred learning style improve your academic performance or help you retain information for a longer time? This has not yet been proved. A researcher in 2008 pointed out this weakness and claimed that we need more evidence to prove the hypothesis. From this start point, many follow-up researches are conducted among participants from different age groups and areas.
A representative group of researchers in 2015 conducted a study to solve the myth. Firstly, they invited the participants to do an online survey about identifying their preferred learning style, as you just did. After getting the results, they split the participants into 2 groups with either visual preference or auditory preference. Participants were required to take reading tests and listening tests. And thus, they answered a bunch of questions and get scored.
The main finding of this study actually contradicts the hypothesis. The participants with visual preferences performed better in both tests, while the participants with auditory preferences were not scored higher in listening tests. Also, using preferred learning style seems to perform no effect on memory retention. Many researchers also recommend educators to prevent overusing and refining the concept of learning style, because it's taken away the chances for students to improve their preferred learning style, causing this service to mislead the students. Here comes up a question: why people tend to believe in learning style myths and ignore its invalidity? The main reason is how people understand where this hypothesis comes from. How many of you believe that people who learn in different ways use different brain regions? And how many of you believe that your learning style is determined at birth, being heritable, and can be easily measured in the brain? Actually, these are not proof too, but we tend to believe in these statements because they are seemingly right and easier to understand. Through the process of being a certain learner, cultural influence would affect your learning style's preferences. While many people believe it's heritage from parents, children might determine their learning style preferences at a relatively young age. It's likely for them to look for a prototype. The prototype can be anyone close to them, including teachers, parents, and even their good friends. Other than finding prototypes, there are many other ways. For example, people might adapt themselves into a learning style which is more sufficient with resources to support their study. A self-study kid might incline to prefer using visual learning style because he is offered with less resources related to auditory learning. But are learning styles totally useless? While people do not have individual learning styles, some topics are better suited in certain methods than others. For example, when learning about geometry, it's better to use PPTs and dynamic presentation methods to teach students about shapes and patterns. When learning series and parallel circuits in physics, it's better to use the combination of visual and kinesthetic teaching styles, helping students to better understand how the rules work. Therefore, while we acknowledge the existence of individual differences in learning style preferences, using different approaches to teach can still help educators to create more diverse and inclusive learning environments, which are beneficial too.